The myths we covered aren't just misleading, they hurt performance. PMax isn't broken, it just needs a smarter approach. The fastest way to destroy a performing PMax campaign is to manage it like a traditional Google Ads campaign. The biggest mistake I see in PMax campaign isn't technical. This might be the most expensive myth of all. I've audited dozens Google Ads accounts running Performance Max, and in 8 cases out of 10, the campaigns were underperforming because business owners fell for these 5 common myths. With 8 years of experience managing Google Ads for e-commerce, I've seen some of so-called revolutionary campaign types come and go. Performance Max stands out. Not because it's better, but because the myths around it are actively hurting businesses. Today I'll break down the 5 biggest PMax myths that are costing you money, along with 5 optimization tips and the exact metrics you need to track. I'll also answer the most common questions I get. By the end, you'll understand why your PMax campaigns that look successful on the surface might actually be holding your business back, and what to do instead. Let's go. Let's start with the biggest misconception about Performance Max. PMax outperforms shopping campaigns. Just because PMax is newer doesn't mean it outperforms shopping campaigns. Both use the same algorithm and get the same updates. Adding extra ad types, search, display, video doesn't guarantee better results. In fact, many medium and large businesses are moving back to standard shopping campaigns. Why? Because more options often create more problems, not better performance. Myth 2. PMax handles your entire marketing funnel. This myth is dangerous because it makes business owners think PMax alone can drive growth. While PMax runs search, display and video ads, it doesn't create demand. It mainly captures people already looking for your brand or products. To reach new audiences, you still need other campaigns like YouTube, demand gen or even meta ads. PMax works well in tandem with these other channels. It can remarket meta traffic or organic traffic, but it absolutely does not handle your entire marketing funnel on its own. Myth 3. PMax is simpler to set up. Google pitches PMax as a simple automated solution where you basically just set up your budget and bidding target. But that's not the whole story. If you do the simple setup, you might initially get good results, but then those results will flatten and even worsen over time. That's because PMax tend to exploit branded traffic, the low-hanging fruit of people who already know your brand and keep remarketing to them. This creates additional problems, especially when you want to grow your account and you realize that PMax is not actually a good way to scale your business. Myth 4. Automation means less management work. Another common misconception is that because PMax is more automated, it requires less management work. This is completely backwards. What really happens is that because of PMax's nature, you actually need to make fewer changes, but more strategically. It doesn't mean less management, it means different management that requires careful planning and additional efforts to split traffic properly and plan for growth. As we'll see in the optimization tips, the management is actually more complex, not simpler. Myth 5. Your PMax ROAS reflects the campaign performance. This might be the most expensive myth of all. So often businesses look at PMax and see good ROAS results and think everything's perfect, but meanwhile the business is actually suffering. That's because PMax ROAS can be misleading, especially when branded search gets mixed up with shopping ads and everything else. You get a false impression that you're really doing well, but you either have limited traffic or for the first 2-3 months you may even have good revenue, but PMax has limited ways of growing your business on its own. The best way to evaluate your account performance is to look at your uplift in store revenue in relation to your total PPC spend. There's a popular metric called Marketing Efficiency Ratio or MER. It's simply your store revenue divided by your total PPC spend. Focus on growing that, not just the PMax ROAS. Now that we've exposed these dangerous myths, let's focus on what actually works. Here's the number that determines whether your PMax campaign will succeed or fail: 50. PMax relies on smart bidding, either maximize conversion or maximize conversion value. These bidding strategies depend heavily on historical conversion data. With fewer conversions, the campaign will likely underperform. The efficiency will not be optimal. Generally, with 50 or more monthly conversions, the algorithm becomes predictable and performance can be stabilized. That's why I recommend 50 as the minimum. Now people often ask me, my PMax campaign has 30 monthly conversions, what do I do? The first question to ask yourself is, are you satisfied with the results? Sometimes, even with low conversion volumes, campaigns can perform well. You might get lucky. In this case, you may continue running your PMax campaign without changes, but be prepared to likely run into issues in a few months, because Performance Max has limited growth potential. However, if you get in 30 or fewer conversions and aren't happy with the results, I recommend switching now to a standard shopping campaign with manual bidding. This gives you more control on your budget and allows you to grow your conversion value more effectively. Shopping ads are the most efficient ad type for e-commerce accounts. Performance Max campaigns, however, distribute spend across a mix of shopping, search, display, YouTube, and Gmail ads. Even if the share of non-shopping placements is small, this mix isn't always optimal for e-commerce. A feed-only Pmax setup is a way to push the campaign to focus almost exclusively on shopping ads, giving you more control and efficiency. Before switching to feed-only, there's an important consideration. Do you have enough shopping conversions? You can check this in the channel performance report. Scroll down to the table, sort by conversions, and compare ads using product data, which are shopping, with ads not using product data, search. By going feed-only, you essentially cut in ads not using product data or non-shopping ads. As a rule of thumb, if search ads using product ads account for fewer than 50 conversions, switching to feed-only could hurt performance. If you're not sure about making the full switch, here's a safer solution. Rather than switching completely to feed-only, add a feed-only asset group while keeping your full asset group intact. This way, you can test the waters without risking the loss of profitable search traffic. The conversion threshold and feed-only setup set the foundation, but the real optimization power comes from how you structure your campaigns. The biggest mistake I see in PMax campaign isn't technical, it's mixing traffic that should never be combined. Branded traffic is considered warm traffic. People already know your brand and are searching for it. They're much more likely to buy, so it usually costs less to win them over with a dedicated branded campaign instead of mixing them into a PMax campaign. When branded and non-branded traffic are combined in the same PMax campaign, results are usually worse than if you separate them. In a dedicated branded campaign, branded searches bring higher ROAS at a lower cost per click. In a PMax campaign, branded searches still show higher ROAS, but with the same high cost per click as non-branded. That's the inefficiency PMax is causing when branded search terms are bundled with non-branded in the same campaign. Check the search terms report for the last 30 days. Filter out branded terms and compare their conversions, ROAS, and cost per click with non-branded terms. As a rule of thumb, split if branded traffic makes up more than 20% of conversion value and non-branded has at least 50 conversions. Tip number 4. Don't overcomplicate your structure. Keep campaigns and asset groups limited. Splitting out too many product categories hurt performance if your conversion volume is low. I've seen accounts with 20 PMax campaigns where 3 to 5 would have worked better. The algorithm needs enough data in each campaign to learn. If you spread conversions too thin, none of them perform well. While structure sets the foundation, how you manage changes over time drives long-term success. The fastest way to destroy a performing PMax campaign is to manage it like a traditional Google Ads campaign. A common mistake is tinkering too often, making a change, then changing again or reverting within days. This constant disruption keeps the campaign from ever stabilizing or performing at its best. Frequent changes trigger repeated learning cycles, stopping campaigns from reaching stable, optimized performance. This is why many PMax campaigns start decline over time, usually from too much management, not too little. The rule is simple: make changes in batches and no more than once a month. Smaller tweaks can be made every 1 to 2 weeks. The more conversions a campaign has, the more often you can adjust without hurting performance. After making changes, give the algorithm time to settle, at least a week, ideally longer, before judging results. These management principles connect everything we've covered about structure, threshold, and realistic expectations. Before we wrap up, let me answer the most common questions I get about implementing these tips. I've answered some of them in the video already. I have 30 monthly conversions. What should I do? First, ask if you're happy with the results. If yes, you can continue, but be aware that growth will be limited. If no, switch to standard shopping campaigns to build up your conversion volume first. Should I switch to feed-only if 40% of my conversions come from search ads? It depends. You want at least 50 conversions coming from shopping ads using product data, before making that switch. Consider the hybrid approach instead. How do I know if I should separate branded traffic? Use the search term report to analyze performance differences and only separate if branded traffic represents more than 20% of your conversion value and you still have 50 plus conversions in each resulting campaign. Here's the key takeaway. PMax isn't broken, it just needs a smarter approach. PMax works best when it's part of a broader strategy, not the whole plan. Before your next campaign change, ask yourself, do I have 50 monthly conversions? Should I separate branded traffic? Am I making this change too soon? Taking a pause here can save you real money. With these insights, you can optimize using data and realistic expectations, not myths. If you found this helpful, please subscribe. It helps more people see this content. Have questions? Drop them in the comments. I read them all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.